So welcome to another video, students. Today we're going to be looking at BODMAS and number types. So today, by the end of this video, hopefully you should know the difference between irrational numbers, rational numbers and integers. We should also learn what BODMAS stands for and how to implement BODMAS into our calculations. So integers, rational numbers and irrational numbers. So integers are whole numbers and can be positive or negative. So if we were to have a look at some whole numbers, it can be anything going from 1 to infinity. But remember, it's got to be whole numbers such as 1, 2, 3. But they can also be negative at the same time. So it could be -1 going on to like -2, -3 and so forth. But it cannot have a decimal. Now any number which can be represented by a fraction, where the denominator is a whole number and the numerator is a whole number, is a rational number. So these can be decimal. So for example 2.5, although it has a decimal, it can be represented by a fraction such as 5 divided by 2. We know that's true. 2.5 is equal to 5 over 2. These are both whole numbers or integers, so it works. Another example would be 0.3 reoccurring. So 0.3 reoccurring we know is the same as 0.333, but then we can also represent that as a 1 divided by 3. So you could say 0.3 recurring is a rational number. Our last type of number are irrational numbers. Now these are numbers which cannot be represented by a fraction or a whole number. They tend to go on forever. So an example, so 3 big examples which you might be asked on in your exam is the square root of 5 or the square root of 2 or pi. These numbers go on forever and there's no pattern, so it is virtually impossible to represent these numbers by a fraction where both the numerator and denominator are whole numbers. Now here I've got some questions, so if you just want to pause the video and attempt these, feel free. Pause the video now and then I'm going to continue and try and solve these with you after you've played the video. So hopefully you've had a good attempt at these questions now once you've paused after you've paused the video. So we're going to go through the answers. So circle the numbers which are integers. So remember we said integers are whole numbers with no numbers past the decimal point and they can be positive or negative. So 1 is an integer, so is 2, so is -4. Now the size of the number does not matter, as long as it has no decimal points and it's a whole number, it's fine. So 1024 is also an integer. The square root of 4, now this was a trick question, because if you simplify the square root of 4, we know that 2 squared is 4, so the square root of 4 is actually 2. And we've got here 2, so we know that 2 is an integer, because it's the whole number, and 2.5 is not. 2.5 is not an integer because it's got a number past the decimal place and it's not a whole number, so this one is not. Now circle the numbers which are rational numbers. Now we mentioned in the previous slide that 2.5 is a rational number. I'll go through that again. So we know that 5 divided by 2 is equal to 2.5, and these are both whole numbers or integers as a numerator and denominator, so they both can be rational numbers. So this is actually correct if you circled this. 1 is also a rational number, so is -2, so is 150. Pi is not a rational number. We mentioned this on the previous slide. The numbers go on forever and there's no obvious pattern, so we cannot count this one. And the square root of 2 we mentioned as well is not a rational number. Now circle numbers which are irrational numbers. Now this is where it becomes really useful to remember what we said on the previous slide. The 3 main that you're going to have to remember is the square root of 2, pi and 5. Now the rest of these numbers are actually not. So remember we said the square root of 4 is 2, and that's a whole integer or rational number, so it can't be an irrational number, so you cross that out. Then we look at this as well, 2.5. So 2.5, remember, was a rational number, which means it can't be an irrational number, and also it can be represented by a fraction if you try and solve that as well. So we know this is not an irrational number, and 64 is a whole number or an integer, so we know that that also is not an irrational number, so we cross that out as well. Now we're looking at BODMAS. So BODMAS is the order in which you should complete a calculation. And each letter in BODMAS stands for an operator or a form of operation. So the B stands for brackets, and that means we should complete anything that's inside of brackets first. The O stands for other, so other means powers or square roots, so 2 squared, 2 cubed, or the square root of 4, the square root of 64, anything where square roots and powers are involved. D stands for division, so we should complete division first out of all the other operators, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So we're just going to go through this example together. So remember what we said, so B is for brackets, so we have to solve what's in the brackets first. So what we have is 5 plus 2 inside the bracket, so if we solve that first, we're left with 7. So we've got 7 times 4 plus 2. Now what it comes first, multiplication or addition? Now if we have a look here, multiplication comes before addition in BODMAS. So we got to do the multiplication first. So 7 times 4 is 28, and then we're left with plus 2. And then we just, because this is the only operator left, this is what we have to operate on. So 28 plus 2 equals 30. So I've just got some questions which you can answer, so if you want to pause the video, feel free. If not, I'm just going to go through answers now. So for those of you which have paused the video, we're going to get the answers or the workings out just now for you. So if we have a look, we've got 4 plus 2 times 5. So what comes first, multiplication or addition? It's multiplication. So 2 times 5 is 10, 4 plus 10. So now we've got 4 plus 10, which equals 14. So the answer to the first question is 14. Now, we've got to look at 2b. So we've got 5 times 5 times 5. We've got 2 plus 5 and a 5 minus 4. So the obvious one is that multiplication comes first. So we have to solve these two multiplications. So 5 times 5 is 25 times 5 minus 4, 2 plus. And we have to do 25 times 5 again, because there's two lots of multiplication, which is 125. So this goes to here. So we've got 125 minus 4 plus 2. So now we've got a plus and a minus. Now what comes first, addition or subtraction? Now BODMAS is telling us addition, so we're going to follow what BODMAS says. So 2 plus 125 is 127 minus 4, which equals 123. So the answer to your second question, part 2b, should be 123. Now part 2c, so now we have lots of different operators. We have 4 different, so we have addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. So the first one that comes up is division in BODMAS, so we do division first. So remember it's minus 2, so minus 2 divided by 2 is minus 1, and then we've got times 10, then 2 plus 2. So what comes next, is it multiplication, subtraction, or addition? It's actually multiplication, so minus 1 times 10 is minus 10. We've got 2 plus 2 still, then 2 plus 2 minus 10. So is it addition or subtraction? It's actually addition. So 2 minus 10 is minus 8. Then we've still got the plus 2. Sorry, we've still got 2 plus, which is the same as 2 minus 8, which is actually minus 6. So the answer for the third question should be minus 6. Right, thank you so much for watching my video on BODMAS and number types. For more videos, please visit our website www.gcsemathsresources.co.uk or visit our YouTube channel to browse our other selection of videos. Thank you very much.